Welcome to another Sunday morning conversation, everybody. This morning is my guest is Rafael Pina Pereira. He's Brazilian and he's one of the co-race directors of Fodaxman. It's a Brazilian XTRI. I've had the founder of the XTRI series on before, an extreme triathlete. So now I think you should hear from a race director. Oh, this is Tinkerbell. She's been meowing and wanting petted. So I thought she would be part of our intro today. So it's going to be a really interesting episode if you want to hear about an XTRI. It's really, it's not just the course that goes into this. It's the climate, the conditions, everything. So, if you've ever had that thought cross your mind, this would be an episode for you to listen to. If you like it, hit the thumbs up and please do subscribe. And if you want to see more of these Sunday morning conversations, please do hit the bell for notifications. Say bye, Tink. Huh? Hope you enjoy the story.
Hello.
Hey, Rafael.
Hello, Eric.
Yeah,
Oh, hello. How are you?
good. You got to turn on video.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm receiving a message that the video is not turning on, but failed to start video camera. Please select another camera. There isn't another camera. Let me try to get out and again because the Zoom application didn't open. I have to open it manually, so maybe I did something wrong. Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Again, I don't know why. It's strange. Do you hear me?
Oh, I hear you.
The camera is turned on. I can see the light. Well, but and I'm using video conference all day long. Just a moment.
Maybe it's something on my end.
Let's try. Well. I haven't using Zoom for a while now. Maybe the. Okay, start my video. I received a message from the application. The host has access to start my video. I'm trying. Let's go. It gives a message, you failed to start the camera. Let me just try something. Wow. Oh, I discovered okay, my mistake. Now it's okay. Haha.
All right.
Okay, it was a conference room. I left half an hour ago. I forget the camera. I was in the conference room yet in another application.
So how are you doing today?
Yeah, it's a busy week because we are in a I work for a company, a tech company, and I used to be a software developer. Now I'm the management director, and we are in a kind of a really busy weeks in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we are approaching the race, this year's race. This is December 13th. So we are, after this call, we have another meeting. We have another meeting to discuss the race.
So the race is still going on this year.
Yes, we are going on. Eric, just let me try to change something. I don't know if you see me okay. I'm really dark. Let me try to move something here. It's worse. Much worse. No. I think I have a light in the background. Just...
This is better.
If it's better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. It was too dark. Usually I don't turn on the camera for regular work meetings.
Mm. So the race,
yes, the race is going on. We are having to, of course, we have to do some changes. We have to do changes related to the pandemic of this virus, and we have to do changes because of a few repair working we are having on the Serra do Rio do Rastro, on the main climb of the bike section. They are remodeling a lot of parts of that road. It's a huge road, and they are building in repairing parts of the road. Then I had to change the day. You usually do the race on Saturdays. Now we're gonna have to do it on Sunday this year at least. Maybe we're gonna try to see if it's a good changing to put the race on the Sunday. If it's okay, maybe we're gonna keep it, but I don't know. It's a test now.
how do you expect the turnout to be? I mean, obviously Brazilians are going to show up because they live in the country, but what do you think about people who have to fly there?
Yeah, we have a few athletes from the outside of the country. We have athletes from Mexico, Argentina, Chile, France, and we have an athlete from, I don't know if it's Ukraine, I think. The 2 people from Argentina and Mexico already asked to deliver their registration for next year. We allow that for a period of time in September. We opened 10 days time for the athletes who didn't want to come, who weren't able to train or to expect not to be able to travel. They could postpone the race for next year. And we have a lot of course, a lot of Brazilians who is still coming. A few of them delayed too. But I think we have 6 or 8 foreign athletes this year. They are registered for this year, but we really don't know if they are able to come. For example, there are some athletes in Europe now, and a lot of countries there are they have a lot of restriction now for traveling and so on. But in Brazil, we expect to have the race very smoothly. We are already having a few races in the country. We had a racing in the Northeast, full distance. We're gonna have a lot of races now from now on. Maybe every weekend we have a big important race here happening. And in the same day of our race, we have another race here in Florianopolis, as where I'm speaking. from the Challenge family. It's a race that was scheduled for March or April, I don't know, and they delayed for August, then November. Now it's happening in December. Maybe it's gonna happen as well because they had all the permissions and the authorizations now. But we expect the Brazilian people came. We don't know yet about the foreign people.
So what airport do I fly into to get to this race?
Yeah, well, you usually have to fly to a big hub in Brazil. You are gonna arrive in Brazil through São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, but you have to fly to Florianópolis. Florianópolis is the capital of Santa Catarina, where the race is located. The race is in the south of Brazil, in the south of the state of Santa Catarina. And usually all the athletes fly to Florianópolis, even the Brazilians, because of course they came by car. But for someone who lives 3,500 kilometers away from the race, it's better to fly. They don't used to drive that distance here in Brazil.
Okay, because it looked like it's due west from that. Like, how far of a drive is it if I flew into Florianópolis?
From where?
From Florianópolis. How far of a drive is it? Because it looks like it's on the western border of Chile.
No. Yeah. Are you asking about the race site from Florianópolis, or yeah?
Yeah, a race site. You got to forgive me because I'm trying to picture what South America's geography looks like. It's really hard to do when you're not from there and you're not looking at a map.
Florianópolis is in the east coast of South America. We are we are exactly the opposite of the Chile coast. We are more or less 3,500 or 4,000 kilometers from the Chilean coast. We are in the east of the country, and of course all the coast is towards east. And I have to, for the race site from Florianópolis is less than 200 kilometers. I think it's 170 k's, and you are in the start of the race. Then of course you have to travel all the race distance to the other city, to Urubici, where the race ends. And then usually people spend a day or 2 days after the race there and drive back to Florianópolis and start to organize the way back home.
So what kind of places can I stay at by the race? I don't know what kind of hotels you have down there.
Yeah, in Florianópolis, we have a very good hotels. We have a lot of beaches, a lot of resorts. People usually spend a night or two here, but going to the race site, we usually stay in Nova Veneza. It's a city very close to a big town, but it's a small and a very charming city. It's translated for like a new Venice. This city is close to the start, to the lagoon where we swim. And after there, we go to Urubici, is the finish line city. And there we have a lot of small hotels, small resorts, and a lot of people stays there for a time, for some time after the race. We are 3 hours drive from Florianópolis at Urubici, but last year we saw people staying 5, 6, 7, 10 days after the race there.
Okay. So what's it like if you don't speak Portuguese?
Oh yeah, you have to. Usually the hotels, airports, and car rental agencies and so on, they speak English. But usually you have to, on the small towns, you're gonna have a little a little problem to find someone who speaks English. Spanish is not useful as well. Spanish here is just useful in Florianópolis because of the Argentine tourists that came all the summer to Florianópolis. But on the race cities, that is all small cities on the mountain ranges here, they usually don't speak anything outside Portuguese, except on the hotels and even the bigger ones. But you have to find someone, usually people from outside the country use some local people to make their support. and then they have a good time, join some local friends and so on. But the hotels and the airports and the main agencies, they all speak English, but it's not so common.
So unless I can import my own Brazilian with me, I got to find one down there.
Yeah, it's probably.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
what's the terrain of, you know, the race like? I mean, again, I'm up here in North America. I know very little about South America.
Yeah. Well, the terrain here, of course, we have a very kind of is subtropical climate, but the terrain is very changing. We have a lot of for our standards here, of course, high mountains, and have a lot of vegetation on the hills of the mountains. It's not so common for you in North America or for people in Europe. You usually see rock and ice on the mountains. We see a lot of vegetation here, a lot of green. And the terrain of the race is usually all the time rolling hills. You almost doesn't have any flat stretch of the roads of the running course, but it's usually more or less subtropical climate and mountain for our standards mountain ranges here.
Okay, so what's the water temp of the race like?
It's warm, really warm. Some people have difficulties to use a wetsuit, even a sleeveless one. More or less 26 to 27 degrees, usually in the summer, because the race runs almost in the summer solstice. But a lot of people use a wetsuit without sleeves to help buoyancy. But a lot of swims without a wetsuit.
What kind of odd fish do you got in the water down there? You don't have that little one that swims up your urethra, do you?
No, nothing. We just have the warm water, the hot water. The lagoon where we swim is not salt water. You have just fishes, normal ones. We do a night swim. We start 4 in the morning to allow the maximum time to reach the top of the mountain at Morro da Igreja. It's the main summit of the race where we finish. The top finish line is located. And during the swim, the fast athletes doesn't see the sun on the water. They leave the water almost at dawn before the sunrise. But the main bunch of athletes, they leave the water during the sun rising. It's really nice.
Okay. Now, do you light up the buoys?
Yeah. Yeah. We developed ourselves. One of our partners, he's an engineer. He developed a lighting system for the buoys. He developed a system who doesn't turn on the water, and it's really strong light. The battery lasts 4 to 6 hours. It's more than enough, and you can see it more than 1 kilometer away. That light. It's really nice.
Okay. Now you get the lowest temperature at 5 degrees centigrade, and then the high of 41. What's with that huge swing?
Yes,
especially being in the middle of summer.
Yes, because Brazil is of course is in the middle of summer. In the south, we don't have that much of heat as we have in the northeast of the country. In the north is located in the equator line, a few places, but the northeast in the southeast part of the country is much hotter than here. But in Santa Catarina, we have this altitude gradient, and it's mainly because of that. During the start of the race, we are in the town of Urubici. It's kind of a bowl. It's a valley with a really well-protected mountains to the wind. The town of the city is protected from winds. And the town gets very hot during the midday, by noon, by 2 p.m. And in the top of the mountain, Morro da Igreja, if the weather gets bad, usually you have snow, hail, and a lot of wind. And we registered 5 degrees and 37 the same day, in the year of 2018. 2018, we have this gradient. We got and in the night, during the night, when the sun gets down in the top of the mountain, usually the temperature drops very quickly because you are almost to 2,000 meters. So if you got that rule of every 100 meters you lost 1 Celsius in temperature, you're going to see at least 20 degrees lower in the summit of the mountain than you have in the coast, where the swim starts. Then that's because of this, we have this great variation. And of course, athletes have to prepare for that because they started in warm waters. They spent the first hours cycling in a really pleasant weather because the sun is really starting to get up. But when they reach the mountain, the Serra do Rio do Rastro climb, where they have the biggest step in the climbing of in the cycling section, they are, few athletes finish that section by noon, so they have the strongest sun reaching the wall of the mountain. If you see a picture of Serra do Rio do Rastro, you're gonna see that the road goes through a canyon, a very big one, and then the canyon walls are east orientated, so the sun in the morning reaches that wall and it gets very, very hot by noon if the day is sunny, of course. And the total altitude gain of Fodaxman is about 4,900 meters, and just this section of the road that is 17 kilometers, you gain at least more or less 1,300 meters on that section, just in 17 kilometers.
That's about 20% grade.
Yes, it's really steep, and it's not regular because the first 10 kilometers is much less steeper than the last 7. The last 7 is really steep. You have almost 200 turns to get up. And that part of the section, if you are late in the race, if you are there by noon, it's really, really hot too.
Is it so does your race support have to kind of switch out your clothing for you to prepare for that kind of temperature loss?
Yes. People have to prepare for all the extremes in temperature, and the supporter has to be prepared at the top of Serra do Rio do Rastro and the top of the Morro da Igreja to have everything in hand in order to keep the athlete or cool enough if it's hot, or warm it if it's not. The year before the last, I ran the race, not in 2019 but 2018, and I started the race, the running section, without a t-shirt. And I finished at the top with a t-shirt, windstopper, gloves, and a hat to warm my head in the top. It was 6 p.m. more or less, and 3 hours before I was in the sun without a t-shirt, putting ice on my head, on my everything where I could put ice. And 3 hours later, I was looking for something to warm my head, to put cycling gloves with fingers, and so on. It's really extreme, the variation of temperature.
Yeah, I definitely. That sounds like it. I mean, I'll have to figure out what to pack. take my chances.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to do that on a tri bike, or do you have to do it on a road bike?
No, it's a kind of almost a personal, of course, choice, but we are very clear. It's really possible to do on a tri bike. It's really common to see athletes using their 3 bikes to do that. But some people choose to use a road bike because of the main climbing, just because of that. Because the Rio do Rastro is really steep, and you spend an hour and 20 minutes there. It's really, it hurts your lower back doing the on the TT bike. But after that section and before, I think we have a lot of rolling hills where you can get some rest using the aero bars, and have to get some speed going against the wind if the wind is a headwind.
Now, does your race support have to leapfrog you on the bike?
No.
So they're side by side.
Sorry.
Leapfrog, like if you're riding here, they go a little bit like 20 kilometers ahead of you.
Oh, for the supporter?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You cannot go side by side of the athlete.
Okay.
Okay. You have to keep passing and waiting and passing and waiting.
Now, on your website, why do you say if your marriage is not going through a good phase, seriously consider if it is worth putting your husband or wife as a staff?
Yeah.
They're not responsible for the end of your relationship.
Yeah, because it's funny because this kind of races, you can have a lot of friction between the athlete and the supporter, of course. We usually recommend that people know each other or know that the supporter has experience in supporting people doing this kind of races. And if you have to do it with someone you don't know well, it's good to have some kind of agreement before the races who is in charge of deciding something, because this kind of race is not just ours. You have to rely on the supporter very much. Okay, the athlete has to rely on the supporter. Even they have to obey the supporter, because sometimes they are not aware what they are doing, or they are not thinking clearly during the race.
Okay.
just because of that.
Now, does your race support have to accompany you on the run too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're running like beside you for at least a portion of it, or all of it?
You can run all the time. The support can accompany you by side on the running. Of course, you have someone to drive the car. You have to, the mountain has a really good road access to the top. And you have to drive back the athlete, of course. So you have to be able someone to have to drive the car. But it's very common for athletes to get accompanied by someone who is running with them.
So yeah, you would need at least 2 people, one person to drive and then one person to run.
Yeah, it's not mandatory. You don't need to have someone accompany the athlete. The athlete can run by himself all the race. It's not like, for example, Norseman, where you have the last section of the mountain, you have to have someone with you. But usually people like to do that, and it's much easier to have 2 people on the car, because if you are alone on the car and you are supported for an athlete, you're going to spend 12, 14, 16, 18 hours driving alone, and having to stop every once in a while to changing things, support the athlete, and so on. It's very tiring, of course. We do recommend using 2 people in the car.
Okay, so I got to dig up 2 Brazilians then.
Yeah, yes. If not possible, okay. But last year we saw a guy from the US. They 2 came, but they came with another 2 people. I think a daughter, and so on. And then one of them run all the marathon section with the athlete. And we have another guy he's Brazilian, but he lives in the US for a long time, and he came with all his family. And someone was, of course, running with him. I think even the guy from the UK that came here last year, Mark, he came with his wife, who was doing the support, but she got another athlete from Florianopolis to help her. And they almost everybody has 2 people on the car. even the 14.
Okay. So what's your finish line like?
Yeah, it's really special. We have 2 finish lines. We have one in the top of the mountain, and we have another in the base for someone who didn't met the cutoff time on the base, because we have to. Our finish line on the top is very special. We are in the middle of a national park. That's a national security area, because we have a Air Force radar base up there that controls all the air traffic in the south of the country. And we are allowed to stay up there until night falls. So we have to, during that time of year, we have to leave by 7:45 in the night. So we put the cutoff at 7:30, and everybody who starts to climb before 5 p.m. can go up. If not, they have to finish the base finish line on the base course. Like, for example, it's like Norseman, but it's not exactly the same, because Norseman is the cut is based on the number of athletes. Just the first 160, I think, can go up. Here at Fodaxman, you just the ones who cross that 26-kilometer mark, that is the beginning of the climb, they can go up. If not, they have to go to the base course, the base running course, and finish on the same place, doing a 16 kilometers loop.
Okay.
Okay, so they usually we have the black t-shirt for the finishers in the top, and the white t-shirt for the finishers in the base.
And on average, how many finishers do you have?
Yeah, last year was I think we had 78 people starting, and I think I don't know, by had maybe 40, 46 something. We have 30 more or less on top, 32 I think, and the rest was in the base. Usually is a little more than 50%, but it changes because we just have 3 years to compare, 4 years to compare.
Mm-hmm.
3 because the first year we didn't finish on the top of the mountain, and the first year we finished in another side of the city, and usually we think that, I don't know the numbers by now, but more or less 50% finish on the top, another 30 to 40, and we have a DNF more or less than 10 to 15%, I think.
Okay.
Okay, we have a few DNFs, but mainly in the running. Last year we have something in the bike. I think 3 athletes that didn't finish the bike, but was the first year that happened, because we have 13 hours to finish the bike.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I had for you. Thank you, Rafael. I appreciate it.
Sure, Eric. No problem. It's good to talk to you. And if you, of course, I think you know that there is a XTRI World Tour prospect race going on in the US.
Yes.
Next year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then is the first race to be held in North America. And I think that people are starting to get to know this kind of races.
Well, they actually have Canada Man.
Yes, they have already Canada Man in Canada, of course, sure. Not North America, in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they used to have that.
And they had the Alaska before.
Yeah, the Prospect Alaska Man. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they had Alaska Man for 1 year, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, Starvation Man should be a little bit warmer. I haven't read a lot since Stu told me about it, but.
Mm-hmm. Yes, nice. It's nice to have a racing in the US, because mainly probably you are the biggest market of triathlon in the world, because you have a much bigger number of athletes in Brazil, for example. And last year we had 2 athletes from the US. This year we had one, but he was the one from Mexico who delayed his registration for next year.
Mm. Yeah, maybe one day I'll make it down there. I got to figure out race support.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. We help a lot of people who came here without support. It's very easy. We have a lot of athletes that are willing to be supporting other people, even because they like to do that, or because they want to know the race before going to the race. It's very common for someone to come for support an athlete in the next year they run the race. And for people who came, we usually put local people in contact, and then we try to find someone who speaks English. For example, like last year, we find a girl here who speaks English to accompany that mark in Caroline. And it was this year, I think we are trying to get a person who speaks English as well to someone from, I don't know yet. I don't know for someone from France. Because it's French is really hard to know.
Yeah.
To find someone here who speaks.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rafael.
Okay, Eric. Thank you. Let's see how this develops.
Yes. Have a good day.
Okay.
Thanks, guys, for watching another Sunday morning conversation. If you liked what you saw, please do like and subscribe. And if you want to see more of them, click the little bell notification and it'll tell you whenever I post another one. Thanks again, guys.